Donald Stevens will join host Leonard Waugh to discuss the death of his son, Army Captain Coulter Stevens, who died in Afghanistan in February and was honored posthumously with a Silver Star.
Uncovered Afghanistan.
Afghanistan, sir!
After a successful stint running the secretive Special Operations killing machine in Iraq, Glenn was appointed leader of U.S. and coalition forces in Afghanistan.
Ahmed, tell me what you have done in Afghanistan.
Alexander the Great fought a counterinsurgency in Afghanistan that lasted almost 3 years.
An assassin dagger from Afghanistan.
And he's been spotted in Afghanistan, Bosnia, Iraq, Iran, Beirut, and Cambodia.
And sometime lobbyists who had thought the war in Afghanistan to be entirely pointless.
And then after Afghanistan, the KGB decided Renard was a liability and just cut him loose.
And this is not Africa or Afghanistan.
And this situation in Afghanistan, for you, it is the culmination of all your years of training, all your years of ambition.
1,000 full auto AK-47s and at least 500 Glocks. Smuggled from Afghanistan, none registered in the U.S.
Year in Afghanistan, followed by a couple more in Iraq. Might do it to you.
Bin Laden has been financing the Taliban and Al-Qaeda, setting up terrorist training camps all over Afghanistan.
Boy, they're from Afghanistan.
He could bring his army from Afghanistan to repel the Iraqi invaders from Kuwait.
Crazy Afghanistan, yeah.
Man, did work over there in Afghanistan.
He can fucking his in a plane in Afghanistan. Everyone else is trying to act like they're in a plane in Afghanistan.
General Hawk, Afghanistan, NATO, Forward Command.
Heard you blew up in Afghanistan.
He is a 22-year-old Marine vet who has just returned from Afghanistan.
He just sent word to me about a heavy shipment of guns a youngster smuggled back from Afghanistan.
Helmand Province? That's in Afghanistan.
Who uncovered the Afghanistan drug ring are being praised by the mayor at City Hall.
He's loud and clear now that we can't do Afghanistan.
He was in Afghanistan and he disappeared and no one's heard from him since.
He was picked up for fake papers and a doctored exit visa leaving Afghanistan, traveling through Morocco en route to Kuwait.
Hidden in the mountains of Afghanistan, Bin Laden planned these attacks.
How'd you get to Afghanistan? There's a travel ban.
How many of those men served in Afghanistan?
I could go to Israel, Africa, Afghanistan.
I don't care if you're talking about a spot weld on a Class 3 rip track or ground operations in Afghanistan.
If I were you, I'd get back to your desk and start studying intel on Afghanistan.
Fly helicopters for the U.S. Army in Afghanistan.
If they do, they'll have Afghanistan under control in a matter of days.
I have only 10 men to lead here in Afghanistan. Huh?
Kid, too many. You might have been G.I. Joe over there in fucking Afghanistan.
I mean, I saw her going to Afghanistan, like about 200 clicks into Taliban land. I mean, I saw her going to Afghanistan, like about 200 clicks into Taliban land. I mean, I saw her going to Afghanistan, like about 200 clicks into Taliban land.
I mean, Vietnam, Afghanistan.
I'm pretty sure the Afghan ambassador here is from Afghanistan.
About the numerous allegations of atrocities committed by Point Corps and its subsidiary contractors against the civilian population in Iraq and Afghanistan.
I'm told that between Afghanistan and LAFD, you have over 600 documented rescues. That's
Bodyguard and generals.
In Afghanistan, dogs fight dogs, birds fight birds, men kill men.
Küçücük çocukların üzerine bombalar atmadılar mı?
In Palestine, Afghanistan, Baghdad.
In the streets there is outrage against the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan.
In the Brotherhood of Arms.
In Vegas, looking at Afghanistan.
Iraq, Afghanistan, the Balkans, you name it.
Is every single adult male in Afghanistan your uncle?
Isn't it possible that when the three eldest brothers grew beards in Afghanistan, they started to look alike?
If not impotent, then at least reluctant. Now, the United States finds itself in such bitter confrontation with the Soviet Union over that country's invasion of Afghanistan that it...
I think Afghanistan.
It's about my partner in Afghanistan.
Dated back from Afghanistan.
Messed up bad in Kabul, Afghanistan, broke about 18 bones and 2 legs.
No one wins a war in Afghanistan.
Oh, we've been learning Dari, which is kind of like Farsi over at basic because my reserve unit was going to be going over by Afghanistan.
Oh!
And
Osama wannabe lives in Iraq, Afghanistan.
The front lines in the global war on terror are not in Iraq or Afghanistan.
Over 2 million soldiers fought in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Pakistan, Chechnya, Afghanistan.
Philippe Sauvage developed some, well, let's just call them psychological issues, which initially manifested in Afghanistan and finally came to a head in Iraq.
President Obama, as you know, is drawing down troops in Iraq to refocus our attention on Afghanistan.
They're responsible for killing Marines in eastern Afghanistan.
After I deployed, Emily was watching TV, and there was coverage on the troops in Afghanistan.
Since I've been here in Afghanistan leading ISAF.
I understand that you all were part of the 58th Rescue Squadron, staged over at Bagram in Afghanistan for combat search and rescue.
So now you're in Afghanistan.
So you did 3 tours in Afghanistan, and you were wounded in the Kunar province.
The war in Afghanistan.
The brother flew home from Afghanistan.
The CIA says 7 of its employees were killed and 6 others wounded in a suicide bombing at a base in Afghanistan.
The civilians killed by drone strikes in Iraq, Pakistan, Afghanistan.
The State Department insisted today that the crisis in Afghanistan will not divert the attention of the United States from the plight of the hostages.
They have refuge in Afghanistan.
They say he's part of an inner circle of guys that was hanging out in Afghanistan pre-9/11.
They want to send me to Afghanistan.
This is Afghanistan, graveyard of many empires.
This isn't Afghanistan. I'm not about to buy her with a goat.
This is Philippe Sauvage. We served together in Afghanistan and Iraq.
This is what the Taliban does to women in Afghanistan.
3 months. And before that, Afghanistan and Bosnia.
Together, we build Afghanistan into a free and prosperous nation.
I made to come home from Afghanistan.
We came over the Himalayas from Persia and Afghanistan.
We invaded Afghanistan, that's a reason.
Well, we didn't exactly land in Afghanistan.
We're going to drop you into northern Afghanistan.
We're shipping a large quantity of ammunition from Albania to Afghanistan.
We're so close to wiping Al-Qaeda out of Afghanistan.
Türkiye İslami bir devlet oluncaya kadar savaşımız devam edecektir.
What are you doing bogged down in Afghanistan?
At Afghanistan?
Whoever controls that city controls Afghanistan.
You, sir. Wrong. This dinner's for Afghanistan.
You know what they got in Afghanistan? Landmines.
You might as well be on Mars as in Afghanistan.
Youngest RSO ever in Afghanistan.
Your own vice president has advocated a much smaller and simpler counter-terrorism approach to incapacitate what is estimated to be little more than 100 Al-Qaeda fighters that still remain in Afghanistan.
You sign up to fly jets over Afghanistan for your country.